This video is sponsored by ZHIYUN Tech. Today, we are doing two things. Firstly, breaking down the lighting for these scenes, and secondly, reviewing the ZHIYUN Tech G200 lights. If you're itching to jump straight into the review, go to this timecode. Otherwise, let's go into how I lit this little commercial scene. This video was written by the film guy and read by Drew. So this is our starting frame with all natural lighting exposed so the window behind our subject is only slightly clipping. The room is pretty moody and dim already, so I wanted to maintain that vibe. Overall, I wanted to try and be more subtle and not overlight it. To brighten up the scene, I grabbed a G200 and set it to 50% intensity at 4500 Kelvin, illuminating the back wall. Our character instantly pops from the background, adding that extra oomph. Next up, I brought in another G200 with a small softbox and a grid. Positioned about a meter from our actor's back shoulder, this light was set at 10% and 5600 Kelvin. This is to help give her a little pop from the right side of frame and to fill in the shadows slightly. Also to stop it feeling too moody for our final look. Now, for our key light, I introduced a third G200 placed just out of frame on camera right. Equipped with a ZHIYUN Tech large softbox and a grid, this is set to 100% brightness at 5600 Kelvin. And that's our final image. Oh, and I did have a neg floppy in the corner of camera right, just over the actor's face. This was to prevent any bouncing light from hitting our actor's face camera side, but with the softbox using grids, I realized it wasn't necessary for this particular scene. Now let's move over to the next shot. Again, we start off with the shot with natural light. I took advantage of the 200's lightweight and compact design, and I was able to mount the light, control box, and a softbox using a Cardellini clamp to an overhanging beam, giving us our key light. I initially set it at 100% and 5600 Kelvin, but it felt a tad too intense and appeared overly staged. So I dialed it down to around 60% and removed some ND filter to compensate for exposure. Next up, we added another G200 directly behind our character on camera right, fixed with the ZHIYUN Tech large softbox. This additional light serves as a backlight, enhancing the definition of her arms and ensuring she stands out from the background. I then decided to remove the grid for this one to spread this directional lighting more and reduce overall contrast in the room. This helps the whole scene feel more natural. Remember, balance is key. And to round it all off, I introduced another G200 set at 80% at 4500 Kelvin, equipped with a dish pointed at the back wall. This helped lift the shadows in the background, creating a more balanced image overall. Oh, and to prevent any unwanted window light from hitting our actor's face, I added a neg floppy here. This was important as it maintained a contrast between the camera side and light side. It helps your image pop and adds depth. In my opinion, the best images have layers of shadow and light. Modern cinematography aims to make lighting feel more natural, seamlessly blending into the scene. They don't want you to think about it. It involves using motivational sources, playing with soft fixtures, and mastering the art of subtle, realistic contrast through lighting and color. Great example of this is costume choices. Our character is wearing a blue shirt. I chose this to contrast the orangey brown room. If she wore red, she wouldn't stand out as much. And if she went for black, she'd blend in with the background. Wes Anderson knows this. For the most part, his lighting isn't dramatic, but his colors are. You can add all the lights you want to a scene, but often the answer to help your image stand out is costume choice. So hopefully this info will be helpful for you on your next project. And with that said, let's jump into the review. The ZHIYUN Tech G200s have proven very useful and versatile. These ultra-compact Bowens mount Cobb bicolor lights are rated for a color temperature of 2700 to 6500 Kelvin. One thing that sets these lights apart is their true power potential. Despite being labeled as a 200 series, they are technically 350 watt lights. By simultaneously pressing both buttons on the controller, you can unlock the max mode, providing enhanced output, particularly on the cool end. More on this later. However, it's worth noting that reputable brands often underclock the output of their lights to prolong the lifespan of the LED chips and prevent color shifting. Therefore, I suggest we only use max mode when it's truly necessary. The other thing that helps these stand out is that they are impressively compact. These lights only weigh approximately 1 kilogram for the Cobb itself, while the control box is a mere 100 grams. This is unique for Cobb lights because of heat generation. Generally, lights of this output need a bigger unit to dispel heat. But ZHIYUN Tech have achieved this small size through a clever combination of a large heatsink and an efficient fan system, ensuring both active and passive cooling, making the light in normal mode both quiet and chill. When it comes to build quality, I'm impressed. Given the size and price point, I wasn't expecting what is predominantly metal construction with, some strategic plastic elements, but overall it feels strong and durable. In comparison to what is likely their closest competitor, the Amaran 200X series, the G200s excel in terms of overall build quality. They feature a built-in 180-degree forward and back articulation, along with an integrated umbrella holder. Each light comes accompanied by a soft padded case and a reflector dish. The G200s provide 3 operating functions: normal mode for regular usage, live mode that activates the lights upon receiving power, and music mode, where the lights pulsate in sync with the rhythm of the music. But now let's look at the most important thing, the light quality itself. To do this, I pulled out my Sekonic C800 color meter to test the light quality and accuracy. The results are impressive, with the lights showing off very decent accuracy across the board. Even in max mode, which offers increased output, the light accuracy remains mostly consistent without any notable deviations. This is a great achievement, particularly considering that many lights, even higher priced alternatives, tend to struggle with accuracy at one end of the spectrum, and even more so with boost output modes. The inclusion of max mode significantly amplifies the output on the cooler end, but with minimal impact on the tungsten end, which is disappointing, sure, but this feature will still be valuable for most lighting requirements. It's also worth mentioning that while the green-magenta shifting is minimal, it's all over the place, which is interesting to see. Overall, I'm impressed by the quality of light you are getting out of these units. They are punching above their weight. Let's talk features and accessories. The G200s are compatible with the Bluetooth ZHIYUN Vega phone app for remote control. Unfortunately, the review units provided for this evaluation were equipped with a beta firmware that lacked this particular feature. But there are plenty of other videos online talking about this app. Next, I want to talk about the optional modifier accessories, which includes 2 sizes of quick pop-up softboxes and 2 sizes of lanterns with skirts. These accessories are very decent quality and are very comparable with any other brand out there, with the softboxes standing out as a personal favorite. Now, let's talk about drawbacks. Firstly, the Bowen's lock mechanism can be somewhat temperamental, and I'm not sure if the internal spring is just weak, but it often won't engage the lock. I suggest to mount the light on the softbox first before mounting it to the stand for a better experience. Secondly, in regular use, these lights operate almost silently, which is great. However, when pushed into max mode, the fan noise becomes noticeably intrusive, similar to having an air conditioner running in the room. I would not recommend using this light near microphones on set when using max mode. Next, the absence of a proper mounting system for the control box is worth noting. While the provided rubber hanger works fine, it's not robust or sturdy, and I wouldn't trust it long term. Lastly, it is essential to mention that the G200s lack a battery power option, and ZHIYUN apparently have no plans to introduce one in the future. Considering their intended portability and compact form factor, this is a missed opportunity, and it's worth your consideration if you need a flexible power option. Now let's wrap up. The ZHIYUN Tech G200 lights have left a positive impression with their impressive performance and compact design. While they do have some drawbacks, they don't overshadow the overall quality and versatility of these lights, especially given the cheap price point. I'm sure this will be the perfect lighting option for a lot of people. And I'm excited to see what ZHIYUN brings out next. I've put a link in the description to where you can buy it online. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. Otherwise, you can follow us via the links below. And we'll see you next time.